Fashion, food, film, and music. Some of our greatest loves in life. Welcome to Seems to Me with your co-hosts, Cibeline Sariano and Steve Ricardo.
Hey, hey.
Ho, ho.
I love it.
You always go ho, ho, but you went hey, hey that time.
Oh, I do say ho-ho?
Probably not.
I don't think so. Anyway.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
This podcast is already my favorite. I am sitting here with two beautiful women.
Hey,
I mean, who could have
you.
a better job than this? And a handsome young man, Mike Nash. You know, it's like beautiful people all around me. I love it
You are
already.
just surrounded by beautiful people.
I am.
So we have the lovely one and only, because I love this chick so much, Silvana Costa.
Hello.
Hello,
Hey.
Silvana. Hey, ho.
Hey, and ho, yeah.
So Silvana and I have known each other for a dog's age and then some. And
Yes.
she has done some really incredible things in her life in the last,
You.
what has it been, 5-10 years now?
Yeah, actually,
Lordy.
5 in dog years, but 10, in real life.
Yeah, really? 10 years. Wow.
Yeah, I know. Well, more than that, because I feel like we met before I opened my store, and that was 10 years ago that I opened.
Oh, yeah. We
Yeah.
definitely, we met in Davis Square.
Yeah.
So that would have been long before
15.
2008.
Yeah.
So Silvana is the proud owner and really outstanding, well-done boutiques in Rockport, Massachusetts. One being Wicked Peacock and the other being Strut.
Yes, they're great. I've been in Rockport now 10 years. How I landed there, I think, was...
I know. That always
Yeah.
surprised me because
It's-
you were like a Medford girl.
Yeah, Medford and
Medford.
City.
Medford.
And to be honest with you, I really am the black sheep of Rockport on some level. I really don't fit
Well,
in.
that goes
But
without
I mean,
saying.
in the best way possible.
Yes, yes,
get it's a little spice. It's
Yeah,
you know,
you're spicy.
yeah, a little spice to to the idyllic, bucolic New England town.
For people that are not
Waspy.
from this area, Rockport's right on the ocean.
Yeah,
it's like
gorgeous.
a really
It's
nice area.
incredible. No, it's an amazing space. It's right on the ocean. I mean, it hasn't really changed in terms of the, building structure and like the landscape in, hundreds of years.
But you're right in Dock Square, and there's just such great shopping and art and food
Absolutely.
and fashion. It's really a hot spot. I love
really
taking my
is.
kid there. I love going there by myself.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I go there to see you, and that was my main reason. But
It's a really great spot, especially to spend the day. You can, you go, you stroll around. There's a lot of incredible art galleries there, as well as, it's a different kind of art, say, than what I noticed when I went to SOA.
Yes,
It's very like coastal inspired, nautical, like seascapes, those kinds of kind of quintessential
right
New
to,
England.
yeah, fishes and
Exactly. But, that which has its charm. But yeah, there's really great shops there. A lot of good, handmade stores. My boutiques are there. And I will have to say that even after I opened my stores, I noticed that, the retail landscape changing in Rockport. And I feel,
So
that's
more
great.
of them? More of them? Mm-hmm.
Retail, different kinds of more modern, fresh shops. And I feel as though
you probably were the
catalyst
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
change.
for
And
sure.
I think that's awesome,
Yeah.
And I feel like
the
that
more
energy-
competition you have, the better it is.
Oh, yeah.
right?
And I don't even see it as competition. It's more like a rising,
Synergy.
it's very synergistic. A rising tide carries all ships because everybody brings something different to the table. And actually, it was my mom that helped me see this. Like at first, I was really, maybe when I was less confident in what I was doing, I thought, this person's biting my style and this and that and taking my vendors and, carrying the
remember
same
when you were going
products.
through that, yeah.
Yeah. And, the truth is they were and they still are, but I don't take it personally anymore because, my mom helped me to see that it's like you have your unique, spin and take on everything. And, nobody can can take that
Right.
energy and work ethic away from you.
And
regardless.
people come to see you as the owner when you are a boutique owner. I mean, you create relationships with your consumer and your customer and your clients. And I mean, I know you have tourism all day long.
Yep.
But you have your regulars.
Absolutely. I love, my boutique for that reason. So many different people from all over the world come. And, of course, and I do try to connect with people, when they're in the store and give them the best experience possible. Sometimes, obviously, you can't be there all
Of
the
course,
time.
right.
That's kind of, I think, the struggle. Did you find that in small business? It's like people want you, but then I'm like, I got a million things to do. Like, I got to farm this out.
It's even happening to me in the gallery, too.
Yeah.
It's like I have a list of 20 things to do in my day, but I still also have to engage the audience coming through. And yes, I mean, I used to come home after a 10-hour day at the boutique and at Cibeline, and I was depleted.
Yeah.
Completely fried. I had talked all day long. I had been everybody's therapist.
Literally, their therapist, their cheerleader, their life coach, their real estate, their Google listing,
Their Julie McCoy.
Legitimately, their undercover operation. Did my husband come in here with his new girlfriend? It's all that. No, it's
shit.
just joking.
Okay.
But hey, that stuff has happened. Hey,
yeah.
I've seen those guys on Tinder.
Oh my God! We'll talk about the singlehood.
Exactly. We'll talk
our
about when
lives.
your clients' husbands come in and you've seen them on Tinder and you're like, wait, seriously, it happens all the time.
I
It's so
did
funny.
actually have one of those scenarios happen to me.
Yeah.
Somebody's brother.
That's called screenshot and save, baby.
Oh shit! And Steve is wondering. Everybody's trying to
I'm
get him on
wondering how
Bumble.
to get out of here before I get in trouble for something. I see it going in that direction. I'm not married. I'm single.
Hey,
Sorry.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, and you're not until you're married. You are single.
I am.
That's the way it is.
Very much.
Yeah.
I
So-
used to go to Cibeline's gallery in Davis Square just to hang out and watch the women walk in, actually.
I mean,
and of course, I was in love
smart
with
guy.
Cibeline, but
Yeah.
she was involved at the time. So
Yeah,
couldn't
he
do
was
anything
coming
about
in
it.
to flirt with me, and
I
then
did.
had to get seconds or something like that because I was taken. Huh?
She had to get a security card whenever I came in. Security, Steve's here.
So I want to talk about what your boutiques are.
Yes.
What the vibe is, because they're both very different from one another.
Yep.
You had a third, and you
I
decided
did.
to.
Yeah, I closed that
Downsize.
store. It was actually one of my favorite stores.
I know.
Wicked Peacock is all accessories, jewelry mainly. It's a mix of independent and emerging artists. There's some handmade. There's some fair trade. There's a lot of fun fashion pieces, and it's all mixed in together under the curation of the Wicked Peacock brand. And it's a little
Which is
bohemian,
you.
which is me, sort of my eye, if you will. And it's really a mix of everything. It's sort of the best of the best, if you will, taking from the top of all these different styles, almost like a DJ kind of cuts it all together. And, there's bohemian, there's very edgy, very trendy, there's classic pieces, there's tribal pieces. It really scans a range, very coastal nautical pieces, statement, understated. But somehow I weave it all together in a way that works. And it's been, people love the store, and how I know they love it is they just keep coming back and telling me how many compliments they get. And that's really what it's all about. These women feel like $1 million, and that is the name of the game. It elevates everybody's mood. It just sends good vibes into the world.
And how do you find that so I know that, when you're curating, and I love that you use that word because I've been using that word a lot obviously in a gallery setting.
Yeah.
But I never thought about it for a boutique setting. And it is very much about curating for the consumer.
Exactly.
But also hitting on what you love. You have to like the product.
Yes. What I found is, so I love genuinely everything that's in my store, but not everything is my personal style. But I can picture this woman wearing it. She's amazing. She's generating all this great energy out into the world. And even though I wouldn't wear that in a million years, she would, and she is amazing. And so there is a love of everything, even though it isn't, not everything is what I would choose to wear.
What are you seeing right now trending in Wicked Peacock as far as like what people are buying, what they're gravitating towards, what you gravitated towards when you were buying for this 2021 season?
Yeah, 2021 was a tough year for me personally buying because I didn't go out and hunt, like I call it, in the same way, kind of digging around for stuff. And
because you would have been doing this when, 6 months
ago?
In
the winter, yeah. Right. I usually go and like on my prowl for products and stuff in the winter time because I just, and then I'll keep it up in the summer. So 2021 for me was like about actually leaning back and relying on or resting on my laurels a little bit and being okay with that, but also being fresh and current. So trending right now in jewelry is essentially what I call Italian grandmother jewelry. All of the pieces that were in your grandmother's jewelry box, the big, heavy gold chains, oversized big gold chains from Italy. Those pieces are very
Steve knows
trendy. The Cuban
Italian
link, the snake chain, the rope chain, all of those. And they were big in the 90s too. That kind of stuff.
I remember all that.
The best friend charm, like you would find in your grandmother's closet, the Italy boot, the best friend charm, the horn, all those kind of charm stuff. Charmy things.
How about that thing I sent you that was a trending jacket that had a little bunch of charms hanging off the edge?
Exactly. Charms like
so
the
cool.
safety pin. Remember that back in the day?
God,
the safety pin trend with like you'd put charms.
Or like beads.
Beads.
Yeah.
Because the beaded.
I like beads.
Yeah. The beaded, almost like I want to call them, message bracelets. Those are trending, but they're beaded. I'm trying to think what else I've seen.
I like love beads, the old love beads that everyone used to wear.
Yeah.
You can't find them anywhere anymore.
I know. Honestly, vintage is hard to find, like true vintage.
Well,
beads,
it's interesting. Yeah,
real stones.
I love vintage. I just actually found this incredible bracelet. I think I was wearing it for the grand opening, actually. But, it's oversized gold, actually, like chain link gold. It was like a cuff.
Yeah,
I love it.
Totally.
And I just saw it. I didn't even know it was trending.
I was just curious, during the pandemic in 2020, were you able to stay open the whole time? Or did you have to do like appointments and things? Or
what I did was, so I actually used that. So, we're mandated to close by Governor Baker. I think it was for 3 months. So I had 2 stores. So if 2 stores closed for 3 months, it's like one store being closed for 6. So, everybody takes a hit, I think, and took a hit during the pandemic.
Because summer is your season.
Exactly. But summer, kind of on the upside of that, summer is my season. It is a seasonal business. And so, I was able to reopen, even though I was closed for what we call the shoulder months, which are great months. Like,
you're a more local customer.
Exactly. More locals. A different kind of tourist comes in those months, a more serious shopper even. But, we were able to open, I think it was mid-June. And then, Rockport, fortunately, no stores closed or restaurants closed in Rockport.
Wow.
Like out of business?
Out
closed?
of business.
Wow.
Because, which is amazing. And I think that is due to its, geographic location. I mean, people flocked to the ocean. They always do. And particularly in a pandemic, I found that people that were coming through into Rockport had never been there before. Normally, there's a clientele that comes all the time. They're generational kind of Rockport summer, people. They weren't.
I feel like I did go. I came to see you last summer during this whole thing, and it was busy.
Yeah, people were.
I bought a piece of art, and then I also got some stuff from your boutique. You're right.
Yep.
I feel like although that was COVID, it almost felt like we were just starting to like ebb out a little bit of it. Like that was like one of my first outings, and I was like so excited to be out.
Yes.
But I remember like, can we hug? Like you and I were like,
I
need your hug.
What to do. Like everyone was like, and everyone was like a masked warrior.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
so
undercover and
odd to.
But there's something to be said for that COVID time, at least for me personally, because I was open. I worked when you own a small business, and you're all in like I am. You're all in 7 days a week. It's like nonstop. So that COVID time was very reparative and restorative for me, and I really needed to recharge. I saw it as a complete like gift of time.
Yeah, I did
and
too.
you know, and it was
So you
just
got a lot done.
I got a lot done,
Right.
but yet nothing done, which is what is amazing. Like
It was self-restorative.
exactly,
Absolutely.
yeah, and
I wouldn't say I got a lot done, quote unquote, but I feel like I was able to figure things out that were coming at me.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. You know, I had to process. You know, you process through a lot of things, and if you know that happen in your life, and if you know, I would hope that people utilize that time to do so, because you know we're not going to have that. I don't think mental space again to essentially pause. Everybody's in the same boat. Nobody's like rushing to get anywhere.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Steve and I keep joking that this summer is going to be the summer of 69, where it's going to be like love. And
Summer of
let's
love.
take off some underwear and our bras and throw it and burn it. And like,
I've been
it's going to be
seeing
like
that.
a sex fest.
Literally, you
Whenever
know.
it's really nice out around here, what do you see? You see
see,
no
like,
bras, you see short
everyone's in
shorts,
love.
you see things that I like to see. You see.
Yeah. So I want to ask about Strut then, because that's where you have your clothes versus
Oh
your
yes,
jewelry.
we get like sidetracked. I'm like, oh, so we digress.
Don't worry, I'll get us back on point here.
Yes, Strut is. I opened Strut 5 years after Wicked Peacock, and the reason is Wicked Peacock is only 375 square feet.
It's a small little spot.
It's a
but
small little space.
You get a lot in there, man. You pack
up-
that punch.
Yeah, pack it in, but in an organized, orderly
Yes,
way.
yes.
It's not a chaotic store, even though there's a lot to see. It's very.
I love shopping it.
Yeah, it's very strategic. And Strut, I wanted to do more clothing because I love clothes, and I just didn't have the space in Wicked Peacock. So when the space became available across the street, it was just sort of a natural fit. And Strut is. It's really a mix. It's very eclectic, but I would say it's coastal bohemian. It's very on trend, but not. And it does tap into a breadth of age ranges, but I would say it's for somebody who likes a modern, fresh look.
Yeah, when I've been in your store, I've seen, young women in their 20s, and I've also been in there with women older than me in their 50s and 60s and 70s even.
Yeah,
I think you've done a really great job. And one thing I will say that I've always noticed in Strut is that it seems like you organize it by color. And you often will have texture, but not necessarily prints. Is that correct?
Exactly. I think everybody curates their boutique differently, and I'm not stuck in any one way to buy. But I do find myself leaning away from a ton of prints in my store because then you don't know what's happening sometimes.
Oh, it gets too busy.
Yeah, sometimes that works for a store. I think in like a vintage or consignment shop or a very eclectic, bohemian, like super rock and roll store. But print can get intense.
When you walk into Strut and even also Wicked Peacock, you feel this like, I can't wait to just like, go through everything. Like it's very soothing, especially Strut for me. My experiences in being in there is like, I've come home, and it's like refreshing and exciting because I want to see what you've selected because I know you. Like for me as a fashion designer, this is my take on it is, this is Silvana's, this is what's going on in her head,
That's a really interesting because I think a lot of times people underestimate fashion. It really is a form of, in the way in which we dress and present ourselves to the world. I mean, I think that that's really important, and it's a way to communicate information on such a meta level to people. You don't have
It's your style.
Yeah,
it's your vibe.
It's your vibe. It's your hip. It's like your swag. It's basically what you're saying without saying it.
Absolutely. And I always tell Steve, because Steve and I talk a lot about obviously fashion, and at first he was like, I know nothing about fashion, and then his friends were like, what are you talking about, Steve? You know a lot about fashion.
You're very stylish and hip.
He's got a vibe, right?
Yeah.
He has a vibe.
I read this somewhere, and I think this was. I mean, I actually am dating myself, because I'm 28 for life. But
You're dating yourself.
Yeah.
That's good.
28
See, that's what
for
I'm gonna
life.
do. I'm gonna
We
date
need to come
myself.
up with
Yeah.
one of those things. I'm 27 for life.
Yeah.
That's my lucky number.
I got that from my grandfather. He was 33 for life.
Oh, that's so
funny.
good. That's
so I'm
so
like,
good.
all right, let me be 28 for life.
I love it.
You look
but-
28.
Oh, perfect.
I know. He
That's
was like, how old is she? And I'm like, I don't remember if she's younger than me, older than me. I can't remember.
No,
You look like you're probably like 32. I'm just guessing.
Don't you love him?
No,
He's good.
We'll keep it there.
I was like, he blows sunshine
We'll
at my
write
ass
that. I'll
every
pass
show,
it on
and I
the
love
table.
it.
You're like 33. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
You look a year older than she
Okay,
does.
all right, I'll take it.
Seriously, though, people are aging so well. Have you noticed this? I mean, I guess it goes either way.
Oh, I've seen the opposite. I've seen some people. I'm like, ooh, God.
If you would have
COVID
seen
wasn't
me
good
like
to you.
3-4 months ago, you might not have thought that because during the pandemic, I went on a crazy bottle of wine day routine,
Yep.
and I was eating like crazy. And then all of a sudden, about 4 months ago, I'm like, I quit drinking.
Yep.
I went on a gluten-free diet,
Awesome.
and I changed. But I saw a lot of people that were going in a bad direction.
Oh, I
But-
saw so many, so many. I feel like a couple friends, and I won't name names, but I've seen a couple people, and I'm just like, wow, you look older.
You even told me that I didn't look good when you didn't tell me to my face, but you told me when I looked better. You look so much better than when I
Well, you
first
look a lot
saw
healthier. You look a lot healthier.
Well,
Yeah,
what you eat,
sure.
I mean, that old, you are, it's really important.
You are what you eat.
You are.
Absolutely.
And I actually hit that wall too during the pandemic. I became like allergic to so many foods, and and by allergic, it wasn't that it's like major reactions, but it's just like I was lethargic. I'm like, why? These kinds of things. And I'm like, wait a second. It's because I'm eating not great stuff for my body. And like that has an impact on the way you feel and then the way you operate
when you
in
have
the world.
to stay in, and you have to keep away from
well,
everyone.
you both live alone,
It's
right?
hard.
Yeah.
I know what you. Yes. It's
Honestly,
hard.
it is hard to cook for yourself when you live alone. That's no joke. A lot of people do these like ready fresh kind of things. I haven't done that. I just got a CSA. I can't wait for that to start. They deliver. It's a farm in Beverly. So I think it's like Wild Herb Farm or Little Herb.
That sounds
something.
awesome.
Amazing. It's you buy a share. They deliver fresh vegetables to your doorstep.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
That's
delicious
beautiful.
goodness,
Yeah,
people.
that's great. I actually did a CSA once when I lived in Medford, in West Medford, and I just unfortunately I felt like things went rotten really quick, and so I was like not using it before it was like and
Was it like
I had the
organic
boutique
fruit and vegetables?
Yeah,
'Cause
generally
they do
speaking,
go bad
yeah,
fast.
and it just bummed me out. I was wasting a lot of stuff, and so I just felt like okay, I'm just gonna bag this. But I mean, right now I'd probably use it way more than I was then because I didn't cook as much then.
Yeah, I'm
I cooked
trying-
a lot during COVID.
I have
Me too.
I have a lot of
Which is
friends
great.
that never. They're hooked on having food delivered to the
I know.
my friend Ellie. Everything's delivered to
Yeah.
her house. She doesn't go to stores.
I actually paid a gal that I worked out with
Yeah.
to go grocery shopping for me during COVID because, this is when we were all wiping down fucking groceries and
I
thinking
know,
that we were going to
literally.
get like the plague off of
Oh
our
man, was
Our
that
shopping
crazy?
bread
Legit.
wrapper.
That was a real misinformation move right
God.
there. I'll tell you. 'cause
How
I
does
remember
information like that get out there?
I remember washing literally everything. I'm rubbing a carton of eggs clean. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
You're
man?
like,
I'm
who
rubbing a
am
carton of
I?
eggs.
What have I become?
Totally.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I want to circle back to a couple trends
Yes.
that. So one trend that I discussed last week. Let's see, which one do I want to talk about? I think we were just talking about it before we started the show. Was this whole black and white and what they're calling monochrome trend? And you
Yes.
said that you were noticing some of this too. This whole block print.
Absolutely. Color blocking. I'm noticing it particularly in denim. You're going to get, and this is a throwback to what Contempo casuals to the 90s, the Meadow Glen Mall, where the denim.
Ghetto Glen Mall is what I
literally.
always call it.
I know, right? One leg is black denim. The other leg is acid wash denim.
Really?
Yeah.
This
so
is what you're seeing right now.
This is what's happening.
Wow.
So, it's all different. So you'll have jeans with the pockets are dark and everything else is light. You'll have jeans that have no pockets, but the pocket has been, they've dyed around it, and they do like a negative space around the pocket, but the pocket's not there. It's like the illusion of the pocket.
Interesting to me, unless you decorated it like it was a faux pocket or something.
Yeah.
I've seen people with those, and I'm like, you look like you're missing a pocket.
It's definitely the pocket's not there, but
I mean, I don't know. That's rudimentary of me, but that's just the way I see it.
No, totally. It's what's trending. I'm trying to think. Also, what I call like the extra ratchet jean, like extra distressed, like not just like distressed, like lost your mind,
like ripped all over the place,
everywhere, but big, not like shredded, but big gaps in the knee. Super distressing, wide leg.
Do you like this trend?
Denim hasn't had an innovation since its inception. So this is kind of, what can you do with denim? So they're distressing it. They're kind of mismatching it. They're, this whole idea that the skinny jean is out of style. Stop that madness right now, please.
Totally.
Because people, spoiler alert, the skinny jean will never go out of style. Because if you wear a flowy top, or if you want to wear high heels,
you're not wearing a wide leg.
Exactly. Or if you're gonna wear a beautiful sort of camisole, you need a skinny jean with that. That is a silhouette that works. It has worked. It looks.
And it will continue to work.
It is a polished, incredibly urban look.
I was saying this last week.
Is
that there's certain things that just will never die. Right.
Never.
So for me, I was saying last week, like tortoise shell, shell,
always in style.
all day long, right? Like
point.
that oversized tortoise shell watch. Yeah. I don't care if Michael Kors
it doesn't matter who
it.
does tortoise shell.
Like I have earrings, I have bracelets, I have necklaces.
It's
I love
a fall
me some
print,
tortoise shell.
but it's forever.
I sometimes wear it in the summer.
Oh yeah, with white and tortoise shell
yellow,
is fresh.
Yep.
You're right. It's very like yachty.
I mean. Don't get me wrong. I will generally always...
As in being on a yacht?
Exactly.
Yacht.
Like of
Yachty.
the yacht.
Well, like yacht rock.
Yeah.
Yacht rock.
Haven't you ever heard of yacht?
Why would I think of that? I think of all these old heavy metal guys going on one of those yacht tours.
But they have to have the hat with the anchor with the gold, the white hat with the blue
sequin anchor.
Yeah, the anchor and gold. So I mean, I was saying that. So I'm glad to hear you say that about the skinny jean, because I never wore the skinny jean until it started kind of trending in the last, 5-10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's been around now for a while.
And it's the jegging and the legging and the, skinny jean. I mean, I think those all kind of encompass one trend and one silhouette, if you will.
Exactly.
Right? But I'll tell you, it was liberating for those of us who hate, remember pulling on the Jordache jeans on your bed?
Yeah.
So
they
tight.
had no give.
Fucking tight. You had to lay down and suck in your stomach.
You wiggle.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. It's funny. That stiff denim it's a lot of denim, has a little spandex in it, so you don't have to do that.
Easily
2%
now,
a piece.
I'm lying, actually, because I'm visioning now watching certain women from my past put their pants on and take them off, and it's an ordeal.
It's like an iron fortress. It's like saran wrap.
You're like, come on, baby, I want to get in there. Let's peel these fuckers off
it's
you.
Like a cock block.
Yeah, when they need your help, and you have to help. It's like just lay down and I'll just yank them off.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Everyone's had that moment with the pair of
my
pants.
ex would take off my cowboy boots or my boots. He was really into that.
If the people could only see the hand motions going on in here, it would make it complete.
Okay, so this is great because I think one of the big things that's trending is the opposite of the skinny jean, which is this wide leg pants, right?
And the thing is jeans did need a little shaking up. Let's, and
pants, right?
Pants, 100%. Because the skinny jean, it was getting a little out of control. And
because the low rise, the high rise, the mid rise.
So nobody was innovating the jean. Yeah.
You didn't like it when the NBA players were wearing skinny jeans. You didn't really like that.
I don't like it when a guy shows his ankles and he's got no socks on
and a lot of
he looks
NBA
like a flood.
players do that. I don't know if you're a basketball fan, but we did a thing on NBA players
and their
picked
style. They do have swag. Yeah.
a lot of them are doing good, but some of them are not doing so good.
There's certain guys that can pull off this whole
a loafer and a skinny jean.
Right,
yeah.
right. Certain guys, but not everybody. And when you're 6'7", that's not the look you should go for.
Yeah, it's tough because honestly, guys need to watch where the skinny gets a little too skinny.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it can be distracting. We'll put it that way. Don't think people don't notice.
Yeah, exactly.
Or as my mother would say, "Mamma mia."
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, so what I was saying last weekend, actually something that I noticed in a boutique this past week, this woman that has a boutique right down the hallway from my gallery called Addicted Fashion in SoWa, she has these pants right now that are, I would say they're like, they almost look like rainbow. They're like pastel rainbow, okay, with ripped at the knee.
Okay, totally trending.
Slightly like wide leg.
Yep.
And then they have a cutout at the pocket. Like full on cutout, which is another trend that I was going to talk about, this whole cutout thing.
Cutout is definitely.
Now, I would never put these on personally. Not my vibe, not my style. But a gal came into the gallery on Sunday having just purchased them. And so I was like, well, so what were you drawn to about this? Like, I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I'm going to come back to this tomorrow, at the podcast. Like, it's got the whole like rainbow kind of pastel thing. It's denim. It's got the rippedness. It's got the wide legness, and it's got the cutout. I mean, that's like how many trends are in that one piece?
Well, what it is, it's kind of, I saw the Billie Eilish. I think it's basically, she is setting some fashion trends, Billie Eilish style, and it's that Care Bear kind of style.
Totally seen that.
And I know I use
You're talking about the Care Bear, like
kind of loosely, that pastel-y Care Bear,
But I'm also seeing Care Bears on like T-shirts and sweatshirts
it wouldn't surprise
everywhere.
me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, a nod to the
Bear.
90s and a nod to these, My Little Pony, that kind of a thing. But Billie Eilish is really, she is setting off so many trends, even with the color blocking of hair that she does, where she does a shadow root that's like very, fluorescent, green. She pulls it off.
Did she start that whole hair trend with the like dyeing of the hair?
I feel like this, the super color, that trend has been around for a while, like Katy Perry. I'm trying to
maybe
think.
Katy.
Nicki Minaj. Who was the first that had?
Well, the whole like ombre thing was from the Kardashians for sure. Like Khloe was into the ombre thing, but the actual like blue hair, red hair,
those
that
vibrant
stuff,
colors.
like. Or the
Katy
orange
Perry?
and yellow. I don't even know. We'll have to look it
Punk
up.
rock was doing that.
Oh yeah,
time.
you know what? Let's get
okay.
real about who
I
was.
know.
Thank
England
you,
started it back
thank
in
you.
77. How's that?
All right,
Steve comes
bring
to the
it
rescue.
Back, bring it back because we're talking about Katy
Current
Perry,
shit,
and he's like, "Excuse me, punk rock started that." Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank
so
you.
Sid Vicious and those guys, like who?
Susie and the Banshees. The whole look. Malcolm McLaren. Look, he was the manager of the Sex Pistols. That's when fashion really came hard with the colored hair and everything.
Yeah.
Punk kids were dyeing their hair.
Oh, you know who it was? It was probably Cyndi Lauper, too.
Oh, my goodness.
She was a big one. I mean, I loved Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah, she did like a side shave in the 80s.
I really do like colored hair. I like when you have your hair like one color underneath and another on top. I don't know what that's called, but I really like it, like blonde and black together. You have kind of two color hairs.
I
going
have
on there.
a little, this is a mix of colors. I haven't done my hair colored in a while, but I wanted to go a little lighter blonde on the ends.
That's what it looks like. I like it.
Thank you. You got to use your debrassing conditioners
Billie,
to keep it up.
I call her Eilish.
Eilish, okay.
I call her Eilish. I think it's Eilish. I'm not crazy about what she's doing with style. Just my opinion.
Agree.
It's very sweatshirt, oversized.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's an exaggerated tomboy, but it's also
unisex.
a bougie tomboy. Because don't get her wrong, those sweatshirts she's wearing, $900 sweatshirt.
Yeah, these are Supreme and
exactly.
She's
got, she's rocking the designer logos too.
I'm going to talk
should.
about her new video later when we transition to music because I had some comments about the style in the video.
Okay, so let's. We talked about the wide leg trouser. We talked about the monochrome, which we did last week. Corset tops. Are you seeing anything going on with corset tops?
Interesting. I know you said that, and I was thinking about that as a trend. What I'm seeing. Yeah, I guess what it is, it's high-waisted pants with a crop top. So it's a sort of a variation on a corset. Think of a T-shirt material with a drawstring at like the kind of mid-boob.
Interesting.
And it's kind of a nod to the corset, but made of, corset was very binding, stiff material. These are more T-shirt-like.
What I watched this video and I've been, doing some research. It's actually like the true corset. Like it's like the boobs popping up and over, and you're wearing it with like a blazer like the more long blazer with a wide leg trouser. I mean, there's a classy way to do this.
Amazing,
right?
I mean,
the lacy kind of
fabulous.
exactly,
yeah,
and they're saying that it kind of came from Bridgerton and that whole
sense,
the British kind of old school like you're seeing them like pulling these chicks from behind.
I mean, the
to
corset
get it
really has never gone out of style because I even would see girls at the gym wearing, they weren't corsets, but they were like gym corsets. You know what I mean? They're like
whatever that is. That's
body,
like
but it's really never. I mean, since how the corset's been around since like what the 1600s.
Exactly. I mean, again, it's one of those things you can keep it in the back of the closet.
It never goes
away.
And then Jean Paul Gaultier, Madonna, all this. I mean, it makes sense. The 90s, I think, for me, what's really trending is the 90s on all levels.
And that's where you get that oversized gold chain.
Chain. Even the sweatshirts. Like, remember Champion sweatshirts?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can't. I know.
In the 90s when I dated for the last time I dated until now, there was a purple Champion sweatshirt in my life, not mine, but somebody else's. I remember those.
Yep.
So you're the kind of women that would steal all the guys' clothes because all my good rock T-shirts all got stolen by ex-girlfriends.
Nothing is sacred. Yeah.
But
then I would throw them back at you, and I'd dump them out in front of your house if I was pissed off at you.
You'd use them to clean your toilet bowl and stuff. You'd clean your floors and throw them away first, right?
No, I'd actually make sure you got it back, just so you know it was my big fuck you to you.
I didn't get any back.
I think I want to end the trending stuff on fashion on the maxi summer dress because again, one of those pieces that never goes out of style. Really, at the end of the day, it just transitions fabric. And this year, a couple years ago, it was jersey and stripes and this and that, and you're seeing them in every store. It was more that beachy dress that you wore. This year, it's more the chiffon and the georgette and these. Flowy fabrics, and they're generally printed. I even saw it on the Oscars red carpet, and again, and I've been into a couple stores where I was just like overwhelmed by prints, and I was like, I can't do this.
Can be a lot.
Too much, right? So it's like there's a classy way to go this direction. I don't think it's for everybody. Like the big flowy maxi dress doesn't necessarily work for everybody type. You can end up looking bigger than you want to look. But it's also comfortable and it looks cute with a jean jacket, right?
That's the thing. I know a flowy maxi dress. It's one of those classic pieces. Never goes out of style. Super summery. So, it doesn't surprise me, that the chiffon material, a lot of eyelet I'm seeing, too.
See, that I like.
Dress.
Oh, I would totally do an eyelet maxi dress.
Yeah. Eyelet
flowy
is always
or like
fresh
cotton?
For summer. A little bit of both, like tight on the bustier and then flowy on the bottom.
That's cute.
That's eyelet. Yeah, like almost like a bralette top with eyelet dress.
And is it cut out in the middle?
Some are. I'm seeing a lot of cutout backs, open back.
I'm seeing a lot of cutout midriff now, and it's like, even for girls going to prom, I've seen so many of my friends posting pictures of their kids at prom, and I'm like,
because the side boob is trending. I know.
Leave something for the imagination, like you don't have to show every aspect of your body, even if you have a great body.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I do like, I guess I can handle the edgy thing, but I also like tastefulness and
like
my
polished.
kid's not going to wear a half shirt to school.
Yeah. Unless they're
bottom
super
line.
high-waisted pants.
Pants, exactly. That's a cute look. I do like that.
Super high-waisted with a
okay.
crop top is totally trending.
Got
too.
it.
And honestly, high-waisting acts as a corset.
It helps your smooth out your waist. I mean, that's what these
High-waisted pants are great. They make everyone look thin. Yeah.
Little pants on that I have today. Steve's
My
like,
picture of
check
Busy
those out.
Phillips. She's wearing a high-waisted bikini bottom. It's a two-piece,
Yeah.
but it goes above her belly button. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's a high-waisted piece.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about. I like it on her, but I'm not really that crazy about high. I used to like hip huggers. I'm showing my age now.
Yeah, well, you like that tight, tight around the
Yeah.
Hip
The apple
huggers,
bottom jean,
bell
babe.
bottoms.
apple bottom jean.
I love
Yeah,
it.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
An
Yeah,
apple
it
bottom
does.
jean.
So, Steve, let's move into our whole Billie Eilish thing.
Yes.
Okay,
Since
let me
we
put
were
my
just
fancy
talking about
glasses
her.
on here. Well, she has a new album out now called Happier Than Ever on Interscope, produced by her brother, Phineas O'Connell, who never gets any credit for anything, and he's kind of like the guy that helped her develop her whole sound and everything. And they've been working together since 2015 when they started this thing. And a single came out on June 2nd called Lost Cause. Cibiline's holding up
Doesn't
the
even
cover
make
from
sense.
Vogue, but it doesn't look like her
No.
at
I was
all.
like, who is this?
That looks like
I thought it was Gaga at
Madonna.
first.
Yeah.
Anyways, she put a couple singles out already, and they're blowing up, of course. And you might have seen the one in which she's sitting on a cliff with a snake crawling all over her. I don't know if you saw that video, but it kind of creeps me out a little bit. The Lost Cause one is her and a bunch of girlfriends, and they're all wearing the kind of clothes that you guys were talking about. It's like a slumber party, and they have these loose clothes, really loose clothes, like. I don't know. I'm just not into that style. I mean, I don't mind if a woman is bigger and she has tight clothes on. I guess some people might be troubled by that. Maybe the actual people that are wearing the clothes, but it doesn't bother me at all. But the video, the slumber party thing, you'd have to check it out. There is a line in her song that I like, though. It's, "This is nothing but a lost cause, and this ain't nothing like it once was." I like that. It's a perfect 3-minute and 48-second song that I highly recommend. My good friend Tom Wilson, who was a roadie for The Cure, Depeche Mode, Shakira, a bunch of people, was supposed to go on the road with Billie Eilish, and the tour got canceled before the pandemic. I just saw Tom the other day. He's waiting for a phone call. And hopefully he's going to get to go on tour with Billie Eilish.
Wow. Okay.
Which
That's
will
cool.
be
That would
like
be
an
amazing.
interesting experience for sure.
She's so talented. I mean,
She is very talented. She's got that singing style where she sings really asthma. Is that what they call it? It's got that kind of like
tragic, melancholy. Yeah.
My kid loves her. I don't remember the name of the song, but she's totally into her. I mean, this is an 8, almost 9-year-old who really cares about music. But and I know I talk about her a lot, but I care about what my kid is listening to, and I
She's
want to
really
teach her
popular
music.
now.
Yeah.
She's really popular. The other music artist I was going to mention is Beach Bunny, which is completely different. It's an indie pop band from Chicago. They have a new EP out called The Blame Game EP. It came out in January. It has a song called Good Girls Don't Get Used and 3 other songs. The follow-up to their magnificent album Honeymoon, which was released in February 2020. Once again, here's a band that was going to go on the road, and they got screwed up by the pandemic. Our single Cloud 9 features Tegan and Sarah, the Canadian superstar twin sisters that I love. Their singer Lily Trefullo is awesome. They have 2 dates in Boston. The Paradise sold out already. And
I love the Paradise.
I do
It's a
too.
great spot.
I would keep an eye out
It's a
for
great
Beach
spot.
Bunny.
All right, Beach Bunny. I didn't get a chance to listen to them ahead of time, but I'll be interested. What's the genre of music?
They're like more indie pop.
Okay, I like indie pop. And what do you call Billie Eilish as far as like?
She's very mainstream, but
Pop.
I think it's kind of got an indie element to
Yeah.
it as well because they
dark.
recorded a lot of
Very
their
dark.
early stuff on a computer at home. That's a big trend now. That's a big
But weren't you
musical
telling
trend.
me something about her brother?
Yeah, her brother. He does they were cooped up together and made all this music together.
And you said it's his vision.
Yeah, he's Linnaeus, I hope I'm saying the name right, O'Connell is her brother, and he's produced everything she's done. He's her guy, basically.
But you said he has like the vision. He writes all the music. She writes lyrics and lyrics with him. He does all the music, creates everything on I think it's
Pro
really
Tools
cool to know that there's a boy
Band.
a man behind her.
Oh yeah,
Her brother.
I didn't know that.
Sure.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he's branching out now and working with other artists too.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So that's what I got for you.
All right. Well, we haven't touched on food and film, Netflix kind of stuff. So I'll do a quick little hit on a Netflix show that I started watching just this past week, and I kind of binge. I did 7 episodes in one night because they kind of go fast and they're funny. It's the Kominsky Method with Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin. It's, 2 guys that are kind of in their latter years, and one's single and one's married, and one is married for 42 years, and he absolutely is still madly in love with his wife. And it's just so cute to see that dichotomy between the two. Michael Douglas plays the eternal bachelor, and he's porking his students because he's like a sorry, I know I still use that term. He's the famous. I don't know. He seems like he's playing the famous Sandy Kominsky, he's the acting professor, teacher, failed actor turned teacher. That's what they claim him to be? But he really has these students come out of their shells, and they're having these epic, artistic acting moments. And then he's sleeping with one of the students, and then he ends up meeting this woman who's slightly older than the average 20-something-year-old that he's technically porking there, Steve. And and then you've got this Alan Arkin who's such a pessimist. He's this negative Nelly, but he's got this wonderful relationship with his wife, and he's really established. He's super rich. Anyway, it's a funny, quirky show, and I've really enjoyed it because it's seeing singlehood from the older man's perspective. Wow. I'm, newly single in a life of where I was with somebody for so long, and I know we'll touch on this maybe our next episode of being single in your 40s and 50s and whatever. But here you're seeing it single at 70, and they're going through they have to pee every 5 minutes, and yeah, it's a funny old man show that really is relevant and current, and I just really have enjoyed it. And it's so funny because Alan Arkin hasn't clearly done anything to himself as far as plastic surgery, and Michael Douglas, you can tell he's had a facelift here and fake teeth
God,
there.
That's so funny.
He's he's just so old looking. It's so crazy. But you were telling me, Steve, that you used to work for him,
I didn't know if you knew that or not, but I worked for Michael Douglas for 2 years.
That's awesome.
He had a film called Romancing the Stone that blew up.
Amazing.
Just a small film.
What came out of that was Stonebridge Entertainment, his film company, Stone Group Pictures, his second film company, and Third Stone Music, which was a music company. And one day I got a phone call from this guy, Bud Scopper at Hits Magazine. He's like, did you hear Michael Douglas is starting a new label? Because I was leaving Metal Blade Records at the time. And he's like, do you want to go down there with me and have a meeting? So I went and we met with Dick Rudolph, who was married to Minnie Riperton. He wrote the song Loving You, la 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 la. I should get someone else to sing that. It was a big hit, Loving You, Minnie Riperton. Maya Rudolph's mother, Maya Rudolph?
Mm-hmm, of course.
Her father was who I ended up working with, Dick Rudolph. And we went in there, and I had a nice office, an assistant, and everything. And
That's awesome.
I got to spend a little time
assistant.
now and then running into Mr. Michael Douglas. And
you said he was kind of a playboy back then?
Yeah, he had some problems back then. His wife caught him in a hotel room with a prostitute, and he ended up getting divorced. That's public, though. That's not something I'm telling you. But we're not. Him and I usually talked about weird things like basketball and stuff. He was a basketball fan. But one time I'd signed this band called The Neighborhoods. They were a Boston band. And I had his secretary ask me if he'd meet us out one day. So we went to this restaurant at 3 p.m. that wasn't open. He got the place open. And we walked in, and he's the only one in there sitting there having a drink. I don't ask me, I remember this, but it was a vodka and cranberry juice. And I come in with the band and stuff, and we hung out with him for like an hour.
Oh my
he
God,
was
that's
cool.
awesome.
He came through for me that time.
Well, I have to say, I'm personally a giant fan of his wife. If Catherine Zeta-Jones ever knocked on my door, I would let her park her boots under my bed.
Of course
Just
you would.
saying. Just saying. Maybe not him, because he could wait out in the waiting room.
Michael Douglas has a long storied career, but the one film that I always think of that I love that he was in was Wonder Boys with Robert Downey Jr. They shot it at
Robert
Carnegie
Downey Jr.
Mellon University in Pittsburgh. And when I went to Carnegie Mellon to walk around, because I lived out there for a few years, I went to find all the locations, because I've seen that film like 20 times. It's right up there with some of my all-time favorite films.
I'm trying to remember. I think I've seen it too. Well, I want to, just do our kind of couple last few things here. Silvana, when she came in, we were talking about, did she have any, favorite Rockport restaurants or Boston restaurants to kind of touch on? And you had a really good point about what's happening right now with this whole trend of the outdoor seating and outdoor dining, which is great for those of us that are consumers of it. But you, as a boutique owner, are really actually having a negative effect of it.
Well, I think outdoor dining is a very complicated issue, actually. It's, public space for private equity gain. There's a lot of layers there.
You would hate having a place in Somerville if you feel that
Exactly.
way.
I mean, everything, it homogenizes the downtown landscape. Every single outdoor dining setup looks the same. So it's like now there's no different, the beauty about going out to eat was like, it was a vibe. Now it's the exact same vibe everywhere you go. The same umbrellas, the same, Italian backyard wedding look everywhere you go. And, I think that actually detracts from the dining experience overall. Nobody wants to sit in a parking lot and eat food.
No, that's for damn
I hate
sure.
to break it to anybody.
A hot,
Everybody's
sunny parking
fooling
lot?
themselves.
No, thanks.
Yeah. People are fooling themselves. And also what's happening is on like one hand, restaurants have been allowed to triple their square footage at no cost to them. And so there's nobody to work at the restaurants because everybody's collecting unemployment. So there's, so all these restaurants look
everywhere.
empty.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to go to an empty restaurant? People want to go to a restaurant that has like energy. You walk around Davis Square and it's just like all this empty tables. And, that's going to get old for people, I think, particularly, in terms of parking. So I think that when you live around an outdoor dining situation, it's not.
So is it detracting from like your walk space?
For me personally at Wicked Peacock, I had a great location with 100% pedestrian traffic flow. So now the pedestrian traffic flow is being rerouted to accommodate the outdoor dining needs of a neighboring restaurant. And I don't think that that's neighborly or really productive because
I think that's unfair for
retail because retailers rely on pedestrian traffic flow. And so if people aren't walking by, how are they going to find you? They are walking by ostensibly, but they're not coming back on the sidewalk. And, so for me, I have like a love-hate relationship with outdoor dining. I get it, but I also think why sit on the side of the road and eat food? Ever like in your life.
I will say
why
like,
do that?
I have
and
this,
spend money.
I guess I have this love version of your hate version in the sense that I have complained for years now why there was no outdoor dining in Boston and not very much of it. And like the night of my grand opening, after we closed up the shop, you know, we all walked down to this restaurant, Yellow Door, in the neighborhood, and we had a table reserved, and they reserved it inside. And I was like, wait a second, it's 80 degrees, it's breezy, and you've got a big old picnic table outside. I want to sit there.
Yeah.
In the parking lot, outside at night, you know, with the breeze. And it did have a vibe. It almost felt better outside than it did inside.
Yeah.
So there is that, like,
of
two
course.
sides of every coin,
absolutely.
right? Like, I'd always rather eat outside. My dad, who's like the old school French Algerian guy, you will never, ever get that man to sit outside to eat. Or sit at a loungy spot to eat. He needs to sit at a table. Like, so there's still those standards, right? Like, standards of eating.
And I mean, it's so funny because, you know, it's not that I am anti-outdoor dining, because I get it. I mean, it is relaxing. It is all those things. But I think that it's I think it's just so much bigger than a bread box that, you know, it's one of those things not in my backyard.
Right.
It's like, hey, I love to go sit outdoor dining in the North End.
Yes.
Because I don't live there. But guess what? All those people that live on Hanover Street, I can't imagine they're jumping up and down.
Dying. Yeah. And then there's like that. Hanover's like one lane, basically.
Basically, you got to suck in your waist. On its best day, the North End was a nightmare.
It was a shit show.
Yeah,
yes.
And so now you got everybody's picnic.
But it does feel very Euro. Like when you walk down there at night. At night, it's like everybody has their tiki light, like the tea lights going and all that. But yes, to live in that neighborhood, forget it. I wouldn't. I would be totally.
People with their parking, they already had to park in Charlestown. Now they got to park in East Somerville. Okay,
yeah, right?
I mean,
exactly. You got to park in Somerville to get to the Hanover Italian scene.
All the restaurants are taking over. I mean, it is what it is.
All right, so I actually have a little segue here of food that I wanted to touch on. That. You know, you have been diving into this whole gluten-free world, Steve, and I live it, and I've been living it for years now. And so I actually, as I had gone grocery shopping a little bit over the weekend trying to prep, because Josie comes home this today on Mondays for me every other week, and I always have to make sure I have food in the house because, you know, I live a single life for a week, and then I have to live as a mom for a week. It's so weird. And so generally speaking, the week she's not there, I don't even eat at home. But, you know, two of my favorite gluten-free products, and I have had all of them. I know all of them. I know all the tastes. There's good, there's bad, there's ugly, there's everything in between, right? So one of my favorite crackers, and actually people who eat paleo can eat these. They're a company called Simple Mills, and it's almond flour crackers. And they have a couple different like flavors, but I find that the fined ground sea salt is the best one, and it's a light cracker. The ingredients, it's you know, when you're dealing with gluten free, and when I've, you know, met and talked with a lot of nutritionists, the less ingredients the better. Like when you see an ingredient list that's like, you know, 25 things deep, it's not going to do you any good, you know? So to eat as whole as you can in this process of going gluten-free is your better option. But this ingredient says nut and seed flour blend, which is almonds, sunflower seeds, and flax seeds, tapioca starch, cassava flour, organic sunflower oil, sea salt, organic onion, organic garlic, and rosemary extract. And it's just made from almonds. And they're so delightful. They're very like light and crispy. I would eat those. Yeah, so we're going to have a snack in between shows.
Delicious.
And then my other fave is, and I've tried sorry, I'm going to open this up for a second. I've tried every gluten-free bread there is, and this is by far the best one. It is Canyon Bakehouse gluten-free. You can get it at Market Basket for half the price. Now, they sell it at Whole Foods, and they sell it at all the like fancy stores. But guess what? Big secret. You can get it for like $3.99 at Market Basket, and it sells this. I just bought one of these for $7.19 at frickin' Stop and Shop. But I personally like the heritage style whole grain. They have a couple different flavor, options. It tastes like real bread, and it has nuts in it, and it's like lovely. And again, I haven't even looked at the ingredients. The ingredients is pretty deep here, but it's based on brown rice flour, tapioca, and potato starch. And sorghum flour. I don't have any issues with this. I toast it. I generally toast gluten-free bread. It definitely tastes better toasted than it does not toasted. Personally, I have no problem really with dairy unless it's ice cream. So I put, like whipped cream cheese on it or, make a sandwich for myself. But anyway, I highly recommend that bread for you, Steve, and anybody out there listening that is suffering from feeling bloated or gassy or feeling like, for me, what my aha moment was, I used to feel like I had a grapefruit moving through my intestines. And it would always happen like after I had like a sandwich from like Dave's Fresh Pasta was right next to me in Davis Square. And this is when I started, I started realizing I wouldn't eat and all day, like I wouldn't eat in the morning, I wouldn't eat. And all of a sudden I was starving. I'd go in there, I'd get a sandwich, and I would be doubled over in pain within the next 2 hours. I'm like, this is not normal. It probably was that I was starving myself and then eating. That's not good either. But I felt like I had a grapefruit moving through my intestines. And that was my first moment of going, okay, something's not right. And I needed to kind of dig deep. So that was that's my little take on being gluten-free and some advice for you. Is it okay with everybody if I end on a little positive affirmation?
Please.
Do you want me to give the email and Patreon first before you do that?
Okay, yeah, and then we'll end on my little Zen moment that I like to do.
Okay, Miss Zen. Our email address is seemstomecssr@gmail.com. And please go visit our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/SEAMS2me.
Rock on. And don't forget to get up to Rockport and check out Wicked Peacock and Strut.
I'm going to go up there.
Yeah, please do.
I was going to say earlier that all your price points are really, really on point, right? Like we have
great prices.
Really good prices.
Great stuff. Feel like $1 million. Don't spend $1 million.
There you go. Feel like $1 million, but don't spend $1 million.
I like that.
All right, and to close us out here, guys, we're going to leave you on a little Zen moment of positive affirmation. Only in my pain did I find my will. Only in my chaos did I learn to be still. Only in my fear did I find my might. Only in my darkness did I see my light.
Great.
I like it.
Mwah. Well, till the next time, lovelies.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
bye,
you.
bye.
So let the dance soul feel it in your soul. Take another round and let the good times roll.
Voice is recorded at Voice Motel, voicemotel.com. Your complete podcast recording experience. Located in Union Square, Somerville, Massachusetts.